The Seventh Abortion Part 2. Finding the grave of Obinna's great-grandfather became a journey filled with confusion, pain, and hope. Nobody in the family knew where the man was buried. Not even the elders in the village could give a clear answer. He had lived so long ago that his name wasn't even mentioned in family stories. But Obinna refused to give up. Adanna was still bedridden. Her legs could not lift her. Her waist pained her every day. Sometimes, she cried silently because the weight of her sins felt heavier than the sickness itself. For 7 years, she watched the world from her bed, and every night, she heard the cries of the 7 children she never allowed to leave. Their voices echoed in her dreams like distant thunder. "Mommy, why didn't you want us?" She would wake up sweating, trembling, begging God to forgive her. Yet the curse remained. One afternoon, Obinna wandered into the forest, asking God for a sign. "Please, if this is the only way to save my wife, show me something. Anything." As he worked, a small child appeared behind him. A little boy with bright eyes and a gentle face. "Mister, follow me," the child whispered. Obinna didn't understand if the child was real or not, but his spirit obeyed. They walked deeper into the forest, past fallen trees, past thick bushes, until they reached a quiet place covered in tall grass. The little boy pointed at a lonely old grave. Before Obinna could speak, the child disappeared. And Obinna woke up. It was a dream. But the dream felt real. The smell of the forest stirred in his nose. The sound of the child's footsteps still rang in his ear. He even remembered a strange flat stone with a crack running through it, the stone that lay beside the grave in the dream. He ran out the next morning with determination. For months, he searched different forests, farmlands, old abandoned compounds. He asked elders questions. He took notes. He worked under the sun, in the rain, in fear. Yet, nothing matched the dream. Until one day, he was walking through a small bush path, frustrated and weak. His shoe hit a stone, and he fell hard to the ground. When he looked up, his heart froze. Beside him lay the same cracked stone he saw in the dream. He crawled forward, clearing leaves with his hands. And there it was, the grave, old, quiet, almost forgotten by the world. Tears filled Obinna's eyes. "Thank you, God," he whispered. He called the pastor immediately, and they agreed to return the next morning to pray. But there was a problem. When they got to the grave and began praying, begging, pleading, the air grew heavy and cold. The wind stopped. The trees stood still. Then a voice echoed, deep, old, and unshaken. "She has shed innocent blood. She has destroyed lives she did not create. How can forgiveness come so easily?" Adanna, who had been left at home, cried silently in her bed. Something in her spirit knew the prayer was failing. Something in her heart told her the great ancestor wasn't moved. They prayed for hours, but nothing changed. Obinna and the pastor returned home exhausted, discouraged, and afraid. Maybe the curse would last forever. Maybe Adanna would never walk again. That night, Adanna couldn't take the pain anymore, not just the physical pain, but the guilt. She gathered all her strength and crawled out of the house. Her elbows bled, her knees scraped against stones. Her body shook, but she kept moving. She crawled through the dust, the bush path, the thorns. People who saw her shouted, "Adanna, where are you going?" But she didn't answer. She couldn't stop. Her heart led her. When she reached the grave, she collapsed on top of it, crying loudly. "Please, please, I am sorry. I was foolish. I was proud. I didn't value life. I destroyed the gifts God gave me. I beg you, forgive me." Her tears soaked the soil. Her voice cracked. Pain filled the air around her. Then suddenly, the wind stopped. The air grew cold, and the old man appeared before her, just as he did in her dreams. His eyes held centuries of wisdom and sorrow. Adana, he said, you did not just refuse children. You rejected souls that were sent to bring joy. You valued your beauty more than life. Your pride was greater than your fear of God. Adana shook her head violently, crying, I know, I regret it. I regret everything. If you want my life, take it. But don't leave me like this, please, please. The old man looked at her for a long moment. The only reason I will forgive you, he finally said, is because of my great-grandson. He loved you when the truth came out. He stayed for 7 years. He sacrificed everything to save you. It is his love that has spoken for you. He touched the grave gently. A warm breeze blew, and Adana felt a strange heat run through her body. Her legs tingled, her waist loosened, her pain melted away slowly. The old man faded into the air. Adana sat up, and for the first time in 7 years, she stood. When Obinna arrived and saw her standing there, he dropped to his knees and cried. Adana cried too. They held each other tightly, overwhelmed by the miracle. The curse had been lifted. Years passed. Adana's strength returned fully. Her beauty returned too, but she no longer worshipped it. She became humble, grateful, and gentle. 2 years later, she became pregnant again, and this time, she carried the pregnancy with joy and fear of God. She gave birth to twins, a boy and a girl. Her home was filled with laughter. No more nightmares, no more crying souls. Adana always told young women in her community, life is sacred. Abortion is not just removing a baby. You are ending a destiny you didn't create. If you are not ready for a child, be responsible. Don't destroy a life because of temporary pleasure. And she meant every word. Obinna never stopped loving her. They lived many long, peaceful years together. And every morning, as Adana watched her twins play, she whispered, thank you for a second chance.